Welcome to the Studio Chat podcast. My name is Barbara Thompson. Each week I'll be bringing you a self-care expert or a message to help you to discover how to live your best life and understand your mind-body connection. Thanks for spending some time with me today. Now, let the Studio Chat begin. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Studio Chat. I'm just looking forward to this episode, something that I actually don't know too much about myself personally. I've got the beautiful Jess with me today from the Aromatherapy Co, and she's a clinical aromatherapy student that's specialising in women's health. And if you're anything like me, I have heard of aromatherapy and I kind of know what it's about, but I think this episode is going to surprise you a lot because it's going to be a deep dive into aromatherapy. And I think, you're going to be surprised that it may not be what you think it is. And I'm all about self-care and having a toolkit of, during your lifetime, you go through different seasons and different changes, and having something like aromatherapy, knowing that it's around, knowing the benefits of it, I think this will be a great episode for you to sit down with a cuppa, listen to it, and we're just going to have so much fun. So I really welcome Jess to the Studio Chat podcast.
Thanks, Barbara. Thanks for having me.
So can you share with us a little bit about, who Jess is, but also what's got you, tell me a bit more about the Aromatherapy Co.
Yeah, sure. So I'm like one of those people that I can't sit still. So my friends kind of laugh when I've come up with some sort of new thing that I'm doing, or, some sort of, new thing that I'm sharing or reading. So aromatherapy kind of was one of those things. I used essential oils for years, and I used to just pop them in my diffuser, and I was like, yeah, cool, my house smells really good. And that was kind of my initial thoughts of aromatherapy, which I'm sure is like most people, it's like, cool, just makes your house smell amazing. And then I started using some oils to help with sort of my own anxiety and sort of helping with a sleep routine and that sort of thing. And I really saw the benefits from it. And so I started actually looking into why. I really wanted to know, why are these actually helping me? And so started to read more into it, and then just completely went down the rabbit hole and decided to study it. So I'm studying, a clinical aromatherapy diploma with the Australian College of Aromatherapy, and it's just absolutely amazing. So I've just been, sharing sort of my journey along the way, sharing what I'm learning and like recipes and how I use essential oils in my everyday life.
Wow, I love that you're learning about it, but you're also applying it to your everyday life. And I know this may seem a silly question, but you know me, I'm going to ask it. What actually is aromatherapy?
Yeah, sure. So it's not just, nice smelling house and nice smelling candles and stuff. So aromatherapy is a holistic alternate health treatment with the use of essential oils. So essential oils are a natural byproduct of like fruits, herbs, different trees, resins, the like oils that these plants produce. And so they're used for therapeutic purposes, not just for their aroma. So they do interact with your body and your bloodstream and sort of have healing processes and therapeutic benefits that way. So it's not just about smelling amazing.
Oh, I do like to smell amazing.
Yeah.
I do like things that smell nice, but that's so interesting that it has another purpose. And the word I love in there is two words: holistic, but therapeutic. That really, that sounds really comforting and really nurturing. So that's what aromatherapy is. Now, the thing that when we first started chatting, I was like, I've never heard of a clinical aromatherapist. So you're studying at the moment. So when you've completed your studies, like what will you be doing, and what is a clinical aromatherapist?
Yeah, so as a clinical aromatherapy therapist, I can see clients for sort of their health concerns, whether that's mentally or physically. So what we're actually learning within the course is that clinical approach. So we're able to investigate and chat with our clients about where do they need sort of essential oils in their life, or those therapeutic sort of benefits. And then we work with them for a treatment plan that's suitable for them and personalized as well. So aromatherapy is back again to that holistic treatment. As a clinical aromatherapy,
Aromatherapist. Yeah, I don't worry.
Aromatherapist. Big words. As a clinical aromatherapist, we also look at sort of what else is happening in our client's life. If you go to the doctor, for example, they're just sort of prescribing something for what's happening as like a blanket, whereas with aromatherapy, we will then look at, what are causing your stresses? Do you maybe need support from a nutritionist or from a psychologist? It's adding aromatherapy as another tool pretty much in your toolkit and another way to benefit your health.
Wow. Okay. That's, yeah. So it's more like a kind of collaborative approach. And what I hear too is what you're saying is being a clinical aromatherapist, you see the client, every client's different, everyone's needs are different, and you actually talk to them and find out what they need at that time.
Yep.
So what oils can assist them at that time. Well, I know, look, we're going to, before we dive deep into some of the superpowers of the oils, I know there's a question that many of my listeners will be sitting there thinking, Barbara, ask it. So I'm going to ask you this question. What are your thoughts around multi-level marketing when it comes to the essential oil brands?
Yeah, good question.
I'm sure you get asked this a lot.
Yeah, so there's a lot of people sort of using Instagram as their platform and stuff to share essential oils or essential oil brands that they represent. I know quite a few of these people are doing their own aromatherapy studies and getting qualified as an aromatherapist. And they're all sharing amazing recipes. They're sharing their own stories of how they're using essential oils in their life and sharing really cool recipes. There's actually one lady that I follow who shared this monster spray the other day, which is a natural spray using essential oils that you can make with your kids. And so you use it to spray away like the monsters under the bed and like the monsters in the cupboard. And I thought that was really, really cool. So there's people that are sharing these awesome recipes. But what I do want to say is it's a big market at the moment, aromatherapy. So I do feel like some people are maybe getting oversaturated with the buying and selling of the market rather than the actual health benefits of essential oils. So I really want people to kind of look past that and have a look at how are people using the essential oils, how are they benefiting from the oils themselves, and for everyone to do their own research as well. So do your own research into what essential oils you buy, whether the brand's ethical, whether the oils are actually pure. And if you've got any health concerns, like all of this information on social media, even the stuff that I share is generalized information. So if you're pregnant, if you have underlying health concerns, if you've had cancer in the past or even using oils with children, like these are aspects that need to be personalized to you. What essential oils are safe for you to use, in what sort of manner and what dilution. So yeah, just remember it's generalized stuff that you see on social media. Do your own research and yeah, just take note of sort of the recipes and how people are using it.
And also the ways of using it, because I know that we're not going to get too heavy on it, but there was that movie on Netflix and there are other things that talk about essential oils that you can put them on your body. I've seen people put them in their food and their water, and obviously diffusing if people have animals and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of different ways. I don't want people to discount it and put a blanket approach that, it's this multi-level marketing company. Oils are just not a woo-woo thing, but just said as like a body wash or a deodorant or it actually has medicinal healing properties. And I'm sure like the oils, the nature and history behind aromatherapy, I would imagine comes back to how we were like living off the land and using the land as medicinal properties and food as medicine. And I think aromatherapy, am I right that it comes from that kind of thinking where, yeah, we're healing from the land and our bodies are built to heal with natural ingredients.
Yeah, exactly. So aromatherapy is one of the first kind of recognized medicinal treatments back in the day. They used essential oils, they used herbalism, tinctures, that sort of thing. They used all of those natural methods. And it's not until, like penicillin and stuff sort of came in that the health or medicine industry started to move towards those sort of lab built medicines. So what I find really interesting actually is in France, doctors actually learn aromatherapy as part of their studies. So in France, they actually use aromatherapy in their treatments with clients, which is really, really cool. Whereas in the rest of the world, we don't really do that. Like there might be some hospitals or some hospice centers that do use the essential oils, but yeah, in the medical field, it's just kind of forgotten about, which is a bit sad.
Oh, well, the world is lucky we have people like you, Jess, to help fly the flag for it, because I'm learning as we go here, and I just the more I hear about it, the more I think it's, again, anything we talk about when it comes to our mind-body connection, our health, it's simple stuff.
Yeah.
And it's not overly expensive. And once you find what works for you, until your body goes into a different season, it's relatively simple.
Yeah.
And I think obviously if the oils are in medical field in France, it means, I reckon, oils have superpowers. Do you agree with that?
I do. I think I do. And, whether it's a placebo effect for some people or not, the science that I've sort of been reading around the properties and the actual chemical constitutes of the oils is, I know how they interact with the body and how this actually works. So it is a bit like a superpower. You're like, cool. I'm like, if I'm feeling a certain way, I know that the aroma or the effect that certain oils will have on sort of my emotional response or my body's response. So it's really cool. And the fact that these are natural derivatives of fruits that we eat, for example, or herbs that we eat, like it's just another aspect of getting those benefits from things that we already consume in our actual lives.
Wow, I love that. So you mentioned a word in there that I want you to expand a little bit more. You mentioned science. We're talking about aromatherapy and essential oils, and now all of a sudden I've heard you kind of chuck in, we just talked about the medical field in France, which blew my mind. And I'm also still thinking about the monster spray. Like I really just want to get some for myself, just because
it's so cool. I know. I'm like, do I need kids to make this recipe?
Yeah, I think I'll just have some monster spray anyway, because I just think it sounds so cool. So we just talked about that, and then all of a sudden you kind of slipped this word in sneaky sideways, like science. I'm like, oh, okay, so it's holistic. Is there a science behind these oils?
So if you break down the oils and what they are, and you look at them at like a molecular level, that's what really interests me. And that's actually what got me into it. I liked knowing the things behind it. Like I love using crystals, but I haven't looked much into the science or the energy behind them. Whereas aromatherapy, I have been able to kind of read a lot and look into the actual science and the actual benefits and properties of these oils. So the oils are highly concentrated extracts from, as I said, the fruits, herbs, that sort of thing. And you're getting the chemical constitutes and the properties that that plant gives you. So a lot of these plants already have benefits. And so you're getting the antibacterial properties, anti-inflammatory, diuretic, sedative, stimulant. So these are properties that the chemicals in those oils like affect your body, which is really, really cool. So the way that these essential oils then interact with your body, so there's quite a few different ways. So there's the I can never say this word, it's so big.
Pharmacology or something?
That's it, pharmacology. So this is the effects of the chemical changes which take place in your body from the essential oils. Then that's the physiological, which is the way that the oils affect with the systems of the body. So whether you feel sort of calmer or, more stimulated. Then it's the psychological. So it's your emotional response to using or inhaling those oils. And those are the responses that have been looked at within science of how has our body actually interacted. So there's a lot of studies sort of going on. There hasn't been as much as probably there should be to warrant it being more used in the medical industry. But the more that aromatherapy is getting popularized, the more studies are being done, which is really cool.
Wow. I love that. And I'm just sitting here thinking, we'll touch on it a bit later. I'll make sure I ask you that. This sounds great. Like, how do I get into it? So I'll just park that for later on, but I think that's something that I'll ask you. Like, I've only got a couple of oils, but I'd like to get into it more. So we'll use me as a bit of a case study later on. So what are some of the uses of aromatherapy and the reasons why, we may use them?
Yeah, sure. So the way that you would use essential oils is usually through inhaling the oils, whether it's through a diffuser.
I know it sounds silly. Yeah, how do you do that?
Yeah, sure. So I wouldn't recommend smelling it directly out of the bottle because it is quite strong.
Oh, okay.
I do sometimes, but I just kind of wave it in front of my nose, unless it's eucalyptus, because I'm absolutely obsessed with eucalyptus. So you can diffuse.
One of my strongest senses, anyone that has known me or worked with me, my smell is very, very strong.
Yeah.
I'm laughing so hard here, trying to not laugh during the podcast because I'm someone that would literally crack open the essential oil and really get into it. Like, oh no, don't smell it from the bottle. I'm thinking, well, thank you, Jess, because literally that would be me cracking it open. Oh, God, I sound like an addict. No, I'm not. But I love things that smell good. So I would, without even knowing, I'd open it and just be like, oh, this smells really good.
I do that with eucalyptus because I love it so much. But yeah, I highly recommend just having it a little bit away from your face, and waving it kind of in front, or using the bottle cap of the essential oil bottle, just because it is quite strong. Like if you ever smell peppermint straight away, like that is quite a potent oil, and like your eyes will water, and it's quite like whew.
Kind of clears the nose hairs out, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So you can smell them sort of that way, through your diffuser. Especially when I'm sick, I love to put a few drops of eucalyptus on my hanky or tissue, and so you can smell it and get the benefits that way. And just having it around.
Would be one for, I know at the moment the world and everyone's really tired and really stressed and quite anxious with everything that's been going on. What oil, and look, I know this is again a generalized kind of way we're doing this, so please know this, guys, this is just a general I guess oil. But say if I was really stressed and anxious and just feeling quite fatigued, what oil would you think would benefit me?
Yeah, so lavender oil is one of my absolute favorites. It's a very multi-purpose oil. Lavender is great for anyone that suffers with anxiety or depression. It's a very calming oil, so it's great in that regards. But if you're wanting for like a little bit of a pep, like you need a bit of brightness in your day, then I would look at sort of the citrus oils. So maybe an orange or a grapefruit or even a lime essential oil, just to kind of perk you up a little bit. But yeah, if you were to only purchase one oil, definitely lavender, just because it does have so many different benefits for anxiety, depression, sleep. You can put it on cuts and bruises and insect bites. Like it's literally the toolkit of like the first aid kit, of aromatherapy. It's really cool.
Hero. Would you wait hours before? It's like the hero.
Yeah.
Now I'm just going to I like to be real and honest on here because that's just how I roll. Do they really work? Like, I know that you use them. Like, I feel silly even asking this question, but I want to ask that question because I know you're studying it. But in your real life, honestly, hand on heart, do you find these oils help at times of stress, fatigue, when you're anxious or when you're unwell? Do you really believe that they work?
I do, just because of the experiences that I've had with oils. Like as I said before, I used to just diffuse them sort of in the house and made it smell nice. And then it wasn't until I started looking at what I could add to my sleep routine. I used to take forever to get to sleep. I would always, I'm one of those people that I go to bed and I currently, like, I think of all the things that I should have done that day, or what's happening tomorrow, or oh, I should have said that in that conversation, or the embarrassing moment from 20 years ago. Of course I think about at bedtime. So I started looking at ways of what can I do in my sleep routine to sort of calm myself. So I did start adding things like meditation, and then I started using lavender essential oil in sort of a room spray, and then I started using it as like in a roller bottle with carrier oil as a skin absorption method. And these factors just worked for me. I started seeing that my getting to sleep improved. And what I also loved is that it became a routine for me. So I would go to bed and it was like, my body started to know that, cool, all right, she's spraying the spray. It must be bedtime. Oh, she's putting it, putting the oil on her wrist. Oh, it must be bedtime. Like it got my body as well in that routine. And that's what I quite liked. Even with bouts of anxiety, I know that sort of reaching for a certain oil, or just even that process of going through it, and I'm taking that time, to sit aside and do something to actually help my anxiety. I feel like it's these factors together that really started me thinking, oh man, this is actually working for me. And so I'm now in those routines where I know that if I'm feeling a bit anxious, I'm going to go get something. I'm just going to take a minute to apply my oils. I'm going to sit there, smell them, and then it does make me feel better. So from that sort of aspect, I do believe in essential oils. And then when I started to look into, again, the science of essential oils and how they interact with the body, made me also believe it from that scientific aspect of it. So if you think about when you smell something, you have an immediate response to smelling something. So that is because your olfactory system, which is your sinuses, is the one sense that is linked directly to your brain. And this is linked to your limbic brain system, which controls your emotions, your memories, and it helps to regulate those emotions and responses. So, think about if you smell something really gross, like you got dog poo on your shoe, whatever, your like immediate response is like, oh, gross.
That smells disgusting. I remember being a kid at primary school, and you sit on the mat at primary school, and there'd always be a boy in the, let's just run with this. Was the boy in the class? You're all sitting on the mat waiting at story time, and you can smell poo. Everyone's, oh, who has poo on their shoe? Do you remember that? And that's
Yep, I remember that. There was always one, always.
I'll tell you a little secret funny story. Just one day, guys, that kid was me. One day, and I was like, ooh, and because I was the loudest one in the class, ooh, who's got poo on their shoe? Ooh, that was me. I was that kid, and I looked down, it was me, and I was like, Barbara, keep carrying on. Ooh, who's got the poo on their shoe? Ooh. And I sat on the mat that whole time, didn't tell anyone, and then went to the bathroom and then wiped it off. But I was the kid. Then I noticed, and I was like, keep going, Barbara, keep going. You're not gonna let anyone know.
That's so good. You didn't want to be that kid.
Oh no, but I was that kid.
But see, like, how funny is that? We're talking about something, and it's just clicked with that memory for you, So that's like smell, even though we haven't just smelt it, but that smell brings back memories, and so like muscle memory. So what I was saying before is when I sit down and try to treat my anxiety or when I go to bed, that lavender smell is a muscle memory for me. It reminds me of bedtime and being calm, which is really cool. So yeah, if you smell something amazing, you're going to want to smell it more, and it reacts those emotional responses too. So yeah, with the dog poo, you're like, ugh, gross, you want to run away. Whereas if you're smelling, freshly baked cookies, you're going to hang around for a while. You're enjoying that smell, which is really, really cool.
Some people like rain, some people like the freshly cut grass, some people like bread. I love how you explained that, because sometimes life can just get so busy and we forget the simple things. Thank you for explaining how we smell things and what I know it's and how it works with our body and how our sinuses are directly linked to our brain. Like, thank you for sharing that. That's just an amazing insight. There was something in there that you mentioned before. Oh, I knew Maisie might kick off. Was carrier oil. Can you just explain a little bit to us about what carrier oil is?
Yeah, sure. So when you're applying essential oils to your body, because they are very potent, and they're like highly concentrated, you need to add them into another oil or product just to dilute the essential oils. So for example, you want to have only 5% of an essential oil within your like carrier oil or product. So I use carrier oils such as sweet almond oil, or you can use coconut oil or shea butter, or you can even use olive oil from your cupboard. You just need to dilute that product, and the essential oil, just to be able to apply it for your skin. So this is just so you don't have any reactions, and yeah, as I said, because it is quite potent. And that is another way of using the essential oils is through skin absorption. So how that works is you apply it to your skin, and the essential oils are absorbed through your sort of hair follicles and then are entered straight into your bloodstream. So it takes maybe about 20 minutes for the essential oil molecules to actually go through your blood and actually go through your whole entire body. So it's, yeah, those two aspects, that inhaling and having that emotional response, and then it's that physical or physiological response of your body through actually having those molecules coming through your bloodstream, which is really cool. So yeah, carrier oils are great. You can just grab some coconut oil from Coles, and just add in 5% of essential oils to that, and then you can have that on your body. There are certain oils like lavender that you can use directly on your skin, but again, this is just generalized sort of information. So if you are wanting to use certain essential oils without a carrier oil, just do your research or come and talk to a qualified aromatherapist and see if it's okay.
Yeah, okay. So if listening to all of this, if someone's listening and they think, I want to learn more about aromatherapy oils, or I want to start using them, like, where's a good place for people to start or where to look?
Yeah, sure. So Instagram, I find, is great for looking at how other people are using essential oils, how they're using it for their own health concerns or how they're using it in their everyday life. So that's always good. But yeah, again, as I said, it's generalized information. You can talk to an aromatherapist. So I'm more than happy to have a chat with anyone. I just love talking about aromatherapy. So feel free to ask me any questions, and also have a look at some books. So I do like to share some of my favorite books on my Instagram channel. There's one called A Scented Life, which talks about essential oils and how you can use them in your life, and it gives sort of a brief overview of the science and stuff, and that's a really easy, good read. So just having a look through there, and then yeah, just Google. I use Google for a lot of things. But yeah, have a look. There's a lot of sort of beauty brands or brands out there, or sort of publications that are sharing more information around aromatherapy. So yeah, just have a Google, or come chat.
I think yeah, honestly, message Jess if you have any questions or anything today in this podcast you would like to know more about. So if people do want to contact you, Jess, is that okay? And if they do, where can they find you?
Yeah, sure. So the best place is probably through my social media channel, which is hashtag aromatherapy underscore co. So I thought I was fancy and I spelt it in the French way. So it's actually AROMATHERAPIE underscore CO. So aromatherapy underscore co.
That's awesome. Great. So I'll put all Jess's details in the show notes as well. So I just think I know there's so much more that we can go into, and you will be coming onto the podcast again. So we can do more of a deeper dive into aromatherapy. But I think the first chat that we've had today is a really great introduction to what is aromatherapy, what is a clinical aromatherapist, which I've learned so much today, and just reminding us how strong our senses are and how strong there are many alternative ways to help you through your life with your health and wellness in a holistic approach. And essential oils is one factor of that, and not to get tied up with all the multi-level marketing. I think, if you do that, you're going to miss out on this beautiful holistic approach that could work for you and will work for you. So thank you so much for taking the time today, Jess, just to join me and let my listeners know about you and about aromatherapy.
Thanks so much. And I promise I won't talk about dog poo on the next one.
No, I extended that story, and that's, hey, anything on here, anything goes. So it's we're here to have some fun and have some laughs as well. So thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.
Thanks so much, Barbara.
Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and it has inspired you on your self-care journey. Please feel free to share this with a friend and subscribe over on Apple Podcast. I really love hearing your feedback, so guys, please feel free to write a review on Apple and let me know which part of this episode resonated with you the most. To fall in love with yourself is the first secret to happiness. To find out a bit more about Self-Care Studio or the Studio Chat podcast, head over to my Instagram page, self_care_studio, or on my website, selfcarebybarbarathomson.com.au. Really look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Look after you, and I'll catch you soon. Bye!